You're never going to believe this, but court documents show the White House was not telling the truth about fast-tracking the deportation of a family in Colorado after their husband and father was arrested for the anti-Semitic attack in Boulder. The White House said that the suspect's wife and children had been taken into custody and could be deported out of this country that night. Well, now the administration is telling a judge they never actually planned to do that. Marshall Zellinger's along now to explain why the administration could have been blocked even if they had tried.
Yeah, the family of that Boulder suspect are all here on visas that expired in 2023. Regardless of their status, because they've been in the U.S. longer than 2 years, getting deported overnight was never a legal possibility. Family arrested, could be deported by tonight. These are the social media posts by the White House after this man, Mohammed Suleiman, was arrested, accused of firebombing and injuring 15 peaceful marchers supporting Israeli hostages held by Hamas. But those social media posts were spreading lies. How do we know? Federal court documents submitted by the U.S. Department of Justice. You see, once these statements were posted online, the family of the Boulder suspect sought a temporary restraining order from being deported. In response, the DOJ provided 82 pages of documentation to the court, including an affidavit from an ICE deportation officer saying, quote, based on the information currently available to ICE, the wife and her kids are not eligible for expedited removal proceedings. And that ICE officer wrote, quote, I repeatedly assured the wife that neither she nor her children were being removed from the country at this time. They could seek relief or protection from removal. It turns out the temporary restraining order request was likely not necessary, only a response to inaccurate social media posts from the White House. In an order today, a federal judge in Colorado transferred the temporary restraining order case to Texas because the family is being held in an ICE facility southwest of San Antonio that houses families. Before transferring the case, the judge noted the false statements by the White House. Quote, the government further states that the wife and her family have been placed in conventional as opposed to expedited removal proceedings and suggests that this was the plan all along. The family is challenging their detention as punishment for what their husband and father is accused of doing in Boulder. If they win that argument, it's possible they're released, but because of their status, they could still face immigration hearings to be deported on a traditional timeline, which is in front of a judge and not at the whim of the Department of Homeland Security or the president or the White House social media.
I feel like, again, it comes down to a conversation about due process, right, Marshall, that the Trump administration says, well, let's just skip to the end where this thing happens to somebody and then somebody else comes in and says, well, actually, America is a nation of laws and you kind of have to follow the laws. Like, this is not the only case that's taken that path.
Right, and I've learned that expedited is a legally defined term within immigration proceedings, and there are situations where you could be deported by the Department of Homeland Security without ever appearing in front of a judge. This is just not one of those cases.
All right, Marshall Zellinger, expedited non-legal term, that report when we got that information this afternoon. Marshall, thank you.